All right. Lead Video Vault. How are you? What's up, Red Cardinal? Red Cardinal in Lead Video Vault. How are you all? Happy New Year. There's Janie. Happy New Year, Janie. Jesse Good. How are you? First live stream of the new year. That is absolutely right, my friend. What's up, Richard? Wesley September. Hello, Carol. MJ, how are you? Delirium. Sniff it out. What's up, Jacob Hilliard? What's going on? What's up, Brian? Kathy Hayes, Nicole Clark, Storm in Alaska, Poppy from Sweden. What's going on? Simone, how are you, Simone? Addicted to Knowledge. How are you? Happy New Year to everyone. Wyatt, how are you, buddy? DB Mac is in the house. What's up, brother? Jeff, how are you? Wonderful name. I like your name, Jeff Foltz. Maggie Mayhem, Truth Quest. What's up, Nick Hendricks? How are you? Monica, Adam Condon, how are you? Gringo. Steven or Stefan, how are you from Uruguay? Wow, awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us from Uruguay. Fucking awesome. Teresa, oh man, thank you so much, Richard. Thank you. Danny Sanders, how are you, buddy? How y'all like the 1970s gay porn stash I got going on? Bow, bow, bow. Oh yeah, baby. Elk Grove, what's up, Grave Time? How are you, buddy? I missed my hair, so I was like, let's do a stash for a little bit. It's still 1776. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I just shaved my beard, buddy. Danny, I just shaved mine. Oh, I don't miss it either. I like the little stash. I had all the grandmas checking me out at the grocery store today. I'm just kidding. They're like, look at that. Oh. It is growing pretty fast. It is. You know, that's what I was thinking about, Motorboat. Lot Lizard. No, this is 1970s gay porn stash. like one of the cops, my oldest daughter said that. I have my driving glasses that I wear. And well, you know, in the summer when I go up to where Tom Mezek disappeared, I wear my sunglasses and she goes, "You look like a cop, Daddy. You look like a cop, Daddy." Dude, I did have a mop on top of my head, Danny. I miss my hair really bad. Really, really bad. I was hanging out with Dirk Diggler today. Dirk Diggler. What's up, Claire Harris? How are you? Huh. Yeah. California is a hot spot. I don't like that term hot spot, but I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, right? But Cali's got you got a lot of land, you know? So hey Sonia, how are you? Jessica, what's going on? Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you, True South. I did it at 2 this morning. At 2 a.m. this morning, I went in there and I'm like, meh, meh. But I messed my chin up. I got like, I don't know, because I've had a beard for so long. So when I shave, my face is very soft and gentile. So it like I nicked the shit out of my chin. I was like, oh. What's up, Marty G? How are you, buddy? I'm do a tall mohawk. I'll do a tall mohawk and wear my Locust shirt. Not many people remember that band, probably. Jeff, if I didn't respond to it, no. To be honest with you, please send it again. For some reason, Google messes with me and I don't get all of my emails. So I tell people if they didn't get a response to just send it again. What's up, Andy Davis? How are you, buddy? The Wolf. Robert Sharp. What's up, Virginia guy? Yeah. Victor did say you could definitely kill crawlers. Can, without a doubt. And yeah, if it bleeds, it dies. Do you reading case law? I'll look into that, Stefan. I know. I'll look into it, definitely. I got a couple of friends that are from Central and South America that turned me on to a couple of different cryptids. What's that? I forget that one. There's a cryptid in, I think, Central America, and it's like it looks like a small Bigfoot, but it has a big ding dong. The thing like drags on the ground. What's up, Nick? How are you? So I got some awesome lot lizard experiences for tonight. And I got a thick bunch of encounters for us all tonight. I got some black-eyed kids experiences in here. We'll wait for the crowd to get, so actually 7.5 minutes, and we got 170 people. Not bad at all. Only 50 likes. Wow, I feel used and abused. Jane, I said hi to you right when you popped in. Right when you popped in, I said, hey, Janie. What's up, Otis Driftwood? No, I don't smoke, bro. What's up, K-Dog? Yes, that's Rascals Robert. Robert Sharp is Rascals Robert. What's up, Chevy Lover? That'd be Ford Sucks. Gringo, thank you so much, my friend. What's up, Coffee Chris? Pine Knot, how are you? No, it was my friend Jarvis Chavez told me about it, and I forget what it was, what the name of it was. I have a whole folder of it in my folder. Winter Sky, thank you so much. Holy cow, happy birthday in 55 minutes. I will remember that. I probably won't, so I'm going to write it down. Hey, Winter Sky. All right, bam. It's not yet, Kathy Hayes. You can't jump the gun. Don't make her older than what she is. Do something different. What's up, Bobby Schultz? Dark Waters, how are you, my friend? How are you? I appreciate your comment, and I responded right back to you. I don't know if you saw that. Happy New Year. I hope everything is going well for you, my brother. Grave time herd of locusts, then. Awesome. Actually, it's 27 in upstate New York. Good night to you, Dark Waters. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate you, James. You know I love you, brother. Yeah, it's 27 in upstate New York, Lauren. Yep. Janie, thank you so much. Didn't he say crawlers would be easier to kill with a flamethrower? I don't remember that, but maybe. I don't think he was an advocate of flamethrowers. I think maybe it was a joke one day in one but I don't really think that he at all, you know what I mean? Like maybe it was a joke. I mean, I like flamethrowers, but Janie's on fire. Someone put her out. Blue Days, how are you? Jana's a time bomb. She's just waiting to go off. So 2025, I hope everybody got rid of all of their rubbish that they didn't want around them and just cleansed themselves and is just feeling good. Stacy Lockett, how are you? Paul Williams, how are you? Thank you, Blue Days. Thank you. Charlie Knight, good night already? Already? What's up, Alan Howell? How are you, buddy? On my right arm, this one. Or this one. All right, there we go. All right. Thanks, John Sumner. All right. We're going to start this off with a black-eyed something. Let me get my rubbish container. This was about 3 to 4 years ago. As I originally stated, I'm a truck driver up here in Connecticut. I'm a grocery hauler, and I had taken a particular load out of Hawley, Pennsylvania one year. I was up on I-84, and it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had to pull over and do a friendly visit on the side of this little rest area. So as I'm pulling in, I see there is no one there. I pull parallel to a parking spot. I take up the entire area, and for U.S. parcel drivers or outdoor bathroom, it's between our truck and the trailer. So I get out. I left the truck running. I turn the headlights off. So I had all of my running lights going on at this point. I exit the truck. I get to the passenger side between the tractor and the trailer, and halfway through, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I'm startled. I leaped all over myself. When I turned around, there was an older gentleman. He asked me, "Sir, I have lost my dog. Can you help me?" And I said a few syllables towards him. You scared the shit out of me, I said. Hold on a minute. I zipped up and turned around, and this gentleman was gone. Literally within seconds. I can't see him. It's dark out, 3 a.m. And I'm looking around, and I break the driver's blinker there, being so frantic, trying to find the headlights. I turn the headlights on, and lo and behold, there is this old man standing right in front of me, about 10 to 15 feet directly in front of my truck. Okay, and his eyes. That is what I focused on first, because it was like something I had never seen in my life before. This gentleman had the blackest eyes, as if there was just an empty vessel standing in front of me, lifeless, like a million-mile stare, and just you right there. Blank face, blank expression, no emotion, just morbidly dead and black. And that moment I saw that, boy, I got out of there. Needless to say, I got the hell out of Dodge. I'm sitting there, and I'm shifting and grinding and chirping, skipping all sorts of shit for gears. Finally, I do get out. I'm panicking. All sorts of weird crap is going on, and I had about an hour to get to my stop. I get to the store. The gentleman sees that I am terribly disturbed. Something's on my mind. He said, "Boy, what's your deal? You act like you've seen a ghost. You're looking around the corner before you enter the room and that sorts of crap. What are you doing?" And I said, "You know what, man? This may sound strange to you, but I really got to get this off my chest. I'm not the kind of individual to go and share this type of stuff, you know? This is the first time anything like this has ever happened to me, but I got to get it out." So I go and tell him the same horror story, and towards the end, he's actually kind of chuckling and finding this kind of disturbing. So I said, "What's your deal? This ain't funny, man. Hey, by any chance, did you happen to see when you were at the rest stop, when you look down that cliff, down the mountain, there's all those lights on, like a little village?" I said, "I wasn't sightseeing, man. I was literally there for a reason, not a season." And he gets to telling me, there's this little town down there, and that's where he grew up. And when he was a child, this was before I-84 came through there. The top of this mountain was a summit called Prospect Summit or whatever. So this gentleman grew up down there. People used to go to the top of this mountain and have picnics for what have you. There's a couple of picnic tables up there, I guess, that were up there. And I guess one year a man had gone up there with his dog and they got trapped in a real bad storm. And they got forced to come back down. And unfortunately, they got caught up into a mudslide and he perished, him and his dog. That was the end of that. And I am not the first person to come up with that same experience of this man asking for help from people who are at the rest area at a certain time of day. Well, that's my experience with this black-eyed grandpa. Needless to say, I've never gone back to that rest stop, and I don't plan to. I came back down that day, and I told dispatch, "Don't you ever send me to that store ever again, or you can have my key and badge. Thanks for letting me share." Black-eyed grandpappy. Aww. What's up, Truth in Christ? How are you? Sonny, the Wandering Gypsy. I run with scissors. How are you? SDL, what's going on? Tina Marie, how are you, dear? Crystal, the Hermitless. Cats are doing good, Marty. Has Aramis popped in yet when I did the when I was reading that? Not yet. Okay. Gringo! Dude, I don't know if you guys saw what Gringo or what Aramis gave me, but look how awesome this is. Look at that little buddy. Then he gave me this one. Then this one. This one's like some phase, some evil fae or whatever. I really like this one. But this one's still the favorite. Oh, look at Buddy. Oh, look at his little tongue. Buddy. Then he made a shirt for me. Yeah, they're on canvas. What's up, Dave Reif? How are you, buddy? Tigger on the front and Tigger on the back. buddy. And then, so my daughter, Isabel, and Abby are both into tapestries. And funny enough, Isabel has been getting tapestries with her Christmas money and stuff. Gringo, thank you so much, buddy. I truly appreciate you. Aramik is awesome. I fucking love Aramik. No, I could definitely not imagine seeing that like up close and personal. That's why I did it to the thing like that. I was like, ooh, these eyes look cool. What's up, Sully? How are you, buddy? Andrew, yes. I've done a lot of experiences out of Ontario, Canada. Glendale, we're also here. Awesome. Thank you, John Sumner. And welcome, Glendale. Garnet, how are you? You always got to carry something when you go out in those woods. North by Northwest. Yes, actually, Robert Sharp, who's in this live stream right now, did. Troy, how are you, buddy? Any snow up in Messina area? Bruce Bissell, what's going on? All right, here we go. Aramik! I just literally, bro, I just showed everyone the stuff you got me. Literally like 5 seconds ago. Thank you so much, Aramik. I appreciate you. Look at little buddy. Oh, look at the buddy. Dude, I love it so much. Thank you so much, Aramik. You are fucking awesome. I made a video when I did the day I got them, the day after, I did a thank you in the very first part of the video. So thank you. SDL, thank you. What's up, Tiffany? How are you? Sonic Fox, how are you? Andrew Callan, things are great. Kids are fucking assholes. No, kids are good. Thank you for asking. Aren't all kids assholes, though? I don't know. Mine are. Mine are really bad. They're like, just want to beat them. Anyway, just kidding. Dogman experience. Here we go. Daryl Williams, what's up, buddy? Dude, my kids are fucking, I don't know. I love my kids, but I would not mind DDTing them, little bastards, sometimes. Like, just like Jake the Snake Roberts. Boom. Done. Wise River, Montana, summer 2015. I live alone in a remote location. We didn't have cable, so the only option is satellite TV. It's a humid summer night, July. TV's acting up, so I needed to adjust the satellite like usual. I take my flashlight and a gun with me. I went outside. It was unusually quiet, so silent. It was unnerving. I brushed the thought off and went to the dish, which is in the corner of my yard. I went to work making sure all the wires were all right and pointing it to a different angle. Suddenly, I hear a small slap of a stick to my left. I turned the flashlight to the direction and I saw a creature standing there. I got a good look at it for what seemed like an eternity, but it was only maybe 10 seconds. I slowly backed off and ran back to the house and locked the doors. This creature was unlike anything I had ever seen before. When I shined the light at it, the first thing I saw was its head. It had cropped ears that were pointed upward. Its snout was narrower than a bear and longer, and I could make out large teeth protruding from its jaw. Its eyes were a deep red shade that seemed to reflect off the light I was pointing at it. The body was muscular and huge. It had long arms that appeared to be longer than its legs, broad shoulders, and tapered to the skinnier waist. It was slightly crouched over when I saw it, with one hand wrapped around a small tree. I could make out the legs that looked similar to a dog's legs. It had obvious hocks. Even in the crouched position, it was maybe my height, which was 6 foot, standing fully erect, easily 7.5. Its fur was black, thicker around the neck and chest, and the bottom half was significantly less. I don't know if it was aggressive or not. What I do know is I had a feeling of dread unlike anything I had ever experienced before. Was it just observing me or stalking me? For a creature this large, it was deceivingly silent. It got within 15 yards of me without me even noticing. All I knew was I needed to get out of there and not find out. I don't live on that property anymore, but after the event, I never had another face-to-face encounter. But I did hear sounds in the woods that I could not explain. They would start off relatively quiet and work their way up to a ferocious howl and scream, then back down to quiet again. I don't know if this was the same thing because it could have been local wildlife. Steph Davis, how are you? God mode, what's going on? Shepherdess Beth, how are you? Decent detail. This encounter, so I want to explain a little bit about this encounter. There's a lake just north of my house, in Warrensburg, New York. And Warrensburg's 20 minutes north of my house. I can get there in like 16. Actually, I can get there in 16 minutes flat if I'm going a little above the speed limit. But there's a small lake called Echo Lake. And when I was married, me and my ex-wife would bring my daughters to this lake. And it's not really a private lake, but there are a lot of private camps on there. And there's a kind of a 4-H camp there as well, where the kids can go swimming and stuff. It's a beautiful public beach there, though, which not a lot of people go to for some reason. But the lake is this like really deep blue, and this encounter happened there, and it's interesting. And I think I might take a drive up there and show you guys the lake. Maybe go at night sometime. I'm not sure. But Warrensburg, New York, 2018, 7/17. I was at Echo Lake meeting up with some friends, drinking and having a good time. I was the first one there. Everything was eerily silent. You could hear a pin drop. That's when something caught my attention. About 70 feet away is this humanoid creature. It's about 4 to 5 feet in height, skinny as hell and naked. It was white, almost glowing, just staring at me, like neither of us should be there. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I just stared. Then I hear some rustling in the brush behind me. I quickly turn and brace for a fight. I see another one of them moving away from me. Then I turn and see the other one is gone. Now, I don't know if that was the same one and they just moved super fast or what, but it sure spooked the hell out of me. I called my friends and said, "You best not come anymore. I'm getting the hell out of here." this was submitted to MUFON. So, and this lake is like, I can't even explain to you how beautiful the lake is. Let's see. I'll tell you exactly how far away this lake is from my house. Google Maps. Echo Lake. Echo Lake, Warrensburg, New York. All right, so it is 17 miles from my house exactly. But it's such a beautiful. Sully, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Wait, today's Steph's birthday right now? Right now? Steph, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Steph. Lily Lewis, thank you so much, dearie. You're very welcome. 11 with some shrooms. But that experience, because I've really never felt, actually, I'd been there at night when I was in high school. Me and my friend Rob went up there to meet these two girls. And we parked in the parking area. And it was kind of weird. I don't know. It was kind of creepy there. Maybe it was just because it was nighttime. And I'm really not sure. I didn't see anything there, obviously. But it was definitely freaky. Tim, that's fucking scary, bro. That is scary. I'm not really sure. I think a lot of these encounters are older, you know what I mean? So it's not like people are seeing them like all the time. They're just like a compiled from different years and such. Like that was in 2018. So but they're definitely not anything I want to play with. I myself think that they have, I really think that they were created by the reptilians and or the grays for some, like, not for just a genetic experiment, but for a purpose to protect them and to protect like the deep underground military bases and such. Rafe, what's going on, Rafe? How are you, buddy? Moondog Rex. Could be, Richard. I don't know if the Atlanteans created them. I don't think I think they would create something more or less to them or about them or similar to them. You know what I mean? But maybe they use like the genetic codes because I'm not really sure. I mean, if you really think about the Lemurians, or they did genetic experiments too, so maybe. Okay. Janie, you're supposed to do that as a mod. God dang it, Janie. I'm just cheesing. Hang on 1 second. All right. My email address is under Sunny the Wandering Gypsy and right above SDL. What's up, IE Native? Yeah, truth. I remember I had an argument with some guy one day. He's like, Bigfoot does not crawl around on all fours. And I'm like, what do you mean they don't crawl? Of course they do. Of course they do. You know, like that's like saying Dogman only walks bipedally. You know, like it's ridiculous. What's up, Kitty? Kitty Wolfrus. Did I get what? Did I get what, Lily? I'm not sure what I got. I hope it wasn't bad. Mert, what's up, Mert? Is Seth the contractor in here? I didn't see him. Where is he? There he is. What's up, buddy? You changed your icon. Screwed my last comment. Yeah, send them to me, Lily. Please send them to me. You know, Edbot, that's a very interesting question that's been brought up a few different times, and I do think so. I really do think so. What's your opinion on this fog? I have snow. I don't have fog. I have a cop car that's right down the road. $20 is $20. Oh. That's for you, DB Mac. But yes, tuning forks, I think, would more or less work on like crawlers, maybe. What's up, Bobby? The cop, we don't have any lot lizards around here. We got some crackheads. Yes. Andrew, yes. I just actually did an upload about a Nephilim being spotted somewhere. I don't recall where, but in the Ontario region. The cop could be a fan. He could be. M. Ellen. I mean, they're around there. I wouldn't say they're attracted to that, but they're more or less around all cemeteries, not just Native American burial grounds and such. Like my buddy that lives in Maine, he lives up in Rumford, and there's a Native American burial ground out there, and that's where he saw a Bigfoot. Bigfoot. Aramic. Everyone that's in the live right now, tell Aramic or say to Aramic, thank you for being the greatest Mothman knower ever. Just say, Aramic, you are the greatest person that is involved in the study of Mothman. Kakalina, how are you? And this one is for you, Aramic. I don't remember the exact year. It'd have to be the mid-'80s. My best guess is 85 or 86. It was the summer evening in Oak Hill, West Virginia. Oak Hill is a small town in south central part of the state, about 15 minutes from Beckley, West Virginia, or about an hour from Charleston, West Virginia. I was between 7 and 8 years old at the time, and I was outside playing with my brother, 1 year younger than me, and our neighbor, a boy named Roy, who was the same age as my brother, give or take a few months. We lived in a very rural area, which at the time, we probably had 3 or 4 neighbors within a 1-mile radius. And we effectively lived on the edge of the woods down a dirt road. probably a half a mile from a real road, so there weren't many people around. It was dusk, and there we are just throwing rocks to bats. Today, it seems strange, but back then, it was something kids did in the area. Bats are common in the area, and around dusk in the summer, they are out in full force catching bugs. You'll see dozens of them, and they usually fly approximately 40 feet off the ground. If you throw small rocks high into the air, you can often get a bat to swoop down and try and catch your rock, presumably thinking it was a bug. It's interesting the things kids did before there was internet. And we only had ABC PBS TV back then, so this was entertaining for us at its finest. At any rate, we're throwing rocks to the bats when we see what we first thought was a monstrous bat flying higher in the sky than any others. I don't remember who spotted it first, but once it was pointed out, we were stunned. After staring at it for a few seconds, it was clear that this was not a bat. It was something else. It was a creature in the shape of a man, but with wings. It had wings exactly like a bat, but it had distinct arms and legs as well. It was mostly gliding, with only the occasional flapping of its wings, which is unlike a bat, which constantly flap their wings, and its arms were sort of lazing, hanging to its side. It looked tall but lanky, but it also was too high in the sky to really get a good estimate of its size. I know today that it's probably easy to get a size estimate really wrong on objects that are flying, like large birds. I also can say that it was dark, but I couldn't tell you anything about the coloration. It was dusk and the light was relatively low by that point, and we were seeing it mostly in silhouette. We saw a head, but never its face. I don't think it was looking down. My best estimate, it was about 2.5 times as high as the bats. So that would probably be 100 feet off the ground, but I could easily be way off. It wasn't a detail I was focused on at the time. We watched this creature for a while. We were transfixed, standing there, slack-jawed, trying to comprehend what we were seeing. Then we snapped out of it. We all looked at each other and simultaneously ran toward the house to get my dad. I remember my dad was home, but my mom was not. We ran inside and told him to come outside, quick. We told him we had seen the devil. Of course, we thought it was the devil. That's how we would have thought with our limited framework at the time. He told us that he wasn't sure that he told us that he was sure we hadn't seen the devil, but he reluctantly decided to come outside and check. By the time he did, whatever it was gone. He reassured us with some platitudes that he obviously didn't believe us. We were all pretty shaken by the sighting, and we talked about it for weeks afterward. I slept in the bed with my parents that night, and for at least a week afterward. This incident actually spurred my interest in the supernatural. Later, as a teenager, I learned about the Mothman sightings from the biggest fan, Ermic, and wondered if that was what we had witnessed. With the West Virginia connection, it was natural to think it may have been, but the descriptions never really fit perfectly, and we aren't close to Point Pleasant. It wasn't until reports started appearing from everywhere of the United States. The Jeepers Creepers description really is the most apt description I have seen. I am a scientist, or was anyway, so I have trouble reconciling with what I saw with reality as I know it. But I am sure we all saw something. Thank you. It's not her birthday yet. We got 18 minutes. 18 minutes until winter sky. Catskills aren't that bad, Virginia guy or VA guy. I'd say the deep Adirondacks are worse than the Catskills, but they're not that bad. But there are Bigfoot out there. There's actually feral humans that live out there too. Yeah, it's just my way of busting his balls, San Francisco. What's up, Jeffrey Block? How are you, buddy? They are the best, SDL. Thank you, John Sumner. I couldn't remember it 6 days ago when I was doing the upload. You're 6 days late, but thank you anyway. I'm just teasing. What's up, Craigers? That's definitely something I would worry about, Tyler Steven. Definitely something to be worried about, taking shrooms. And what would you say, in your opinion, would be the scariest experience? I'm not sure. It all depends on different people. Lily, I don't know what comment you're talking about. I might not have seen it. Or what video. What's up, Analog? Dude, that upload was that conversation that I had with him was fucking scary. Him and his girlfriend, like, yeah. Someone commented on The Hills Have Eyes. That was my first. When I first saw the Hill Have Eyes, the original one. I don't have any right now tonight, M. Allen, but I do have some. So do you guys really think Hollow Earth exists? Yes. I think that, like, I don't think it's like Godzilla Hollow Earth, but I think there are spots underground where there is hollow. Like, I don't think, obviously we have a core of the earth, so it's not like Godzilla, King Kong, Monsterverse, but there are hollow chambers underneath us. So yeah, I mean, that would be considered hollow earth in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely, Aramek, 100%. Yes, it was about, actually, M. Allen. It's based on there was a cannibalistic tribe of like barbarian people in Scotland that ate humans that lived in caves. You're absolutely right. I forgot all about that. Thank you for reminding us on that. Truly appreciate that. But you're right, bro. Or sister, daughter of Yah. So, sister. Didn't mean to misgender you. Well, Daryl Williams, they could be spraying different stuff besides chemicals on us, and I'm kind of happy that they're not. Like, at least they're not spraying nut all over us. That'd be terrible. The fuck? Why would I think that? Why would I think that? What the fuck is wrong? What's up, cowboy? How are you? Plat eye cryptid? Mm-mm. Can't say I have. Withdrawal is terrible. I will never ever forget my withdrawal. Um I think one of the big reasons I probably will never use again ever is I'll always remember my withdrawal and how it was. So they're doing good, Mert. They're doing good. I'm learning how to speak completely different now. I have I have a little Operation Crossroads. Yeah, I was addicted to opiates for 27 years. I've been sober for 9. So, yeah. Um, I don't think I'll ever forget the heebie-jeebies. And I was sick. I have a rare terminal illness, blood disorder. So I have neuropathy. And I remember when I was kicking, my legs would fucking just, oh, it was terrible. And, obviously alcohol and benzos can kill you, but, it's just, I don't know. I'm happier now, 100%. Tiffany, congratulations. 13 years is awesome. Congratulations. I hear you, Operation. I hear you. I'll never forget one time I passed out. I don't know how this happened, but I passed out with my elbow on a heater. You know those like baseboard electric heaters? I was sitting down and I nodded off and I just put my elbow on the heater and I fucking passed out. And it was on. It was wintertime and I had a burn and my elbow got burned so bad that it like after it healed or the burn healed, like it looked like my elbow was like elongated. It was fucking weird looking. I was like, oh, VA guy, congratulations. A little over 3 years sober. Danny, good job, buddy. Benzos is a hard thing to kick as well. I'll never forget, like, I was scared when I had my surgery, when I got my implants put in, because I was like, oh, the pain is going to be ungodly, And they prescribed me ibuprofen, 600 milligrams, some steroids, the prednisone, and hydrocodone. And I didn't even think about taking it. You know what I mean? It was just like that, and it wouldn't work because I'm on the Suboxone program. So, but I'll never, ever not be on the Suboxone program. And I think that's a big thing is people that think like, oh, I shouldn't be on Suboxone for the rest of my life because it's a crutch. That's not true at all. Like we have an illness. It's an illness. Addiction is an illness. It's a mental and physical illness. So if you can take a medicine to help you and stay better, and if it works and you use it properly, all the more power to you. I believe that Suboxone it's a miracle drug for me. I just, Yeah, Tiffany, good job. I've been on it since day one. My doctor actually, um, when I was getting sober because of my illness, I had failed a P test for weed and pills. Um, and he shouldn't have, by like the credentials of New York State at the time, he shouldn't have put me on the program, but he did. And I really owe a lot to him for doing that because truthfully, I think if I had to do it without being on Suboxone for the first 2 weeks, I would not have been able to be sober. I heard Dogman before it's a werewolf. Don't know what that means, Oscar. Dogman and werewolf are two different things. Yeah, northwest by north. Black-eyed kids experience. This one's creepy. Yeah, I just got out of McLaren. I don't know if you know the history of McLaren. McLaren is a youth correctional facility for the Oregon Youth Authority. Here's some. I'm not able to say names just because where it is, but there were some kids that just had black eyes. They were really creepy to be around. Quiet. It was eerie just because of how they would act. They're dark. They were cold, a lot of them. I don't want to say they were Wicca, but you could tell they performed some sort of satanic or not normal. Clyde Lewis asks, how did he know about this? There were some words, some stuff being spread around. You know, hearsay is. There's a lot of drama over here. They would act like they would act totally different. They'd spend a lot of time by themselves and not talk to anybody. They wouldn't be near anybody. They would go to church and just stare off into space, or they would just be there. All black eyes, no white whatsoever. Well, sometimes, like we'd be at school and there was a metal shop here. You'd be working and a kid would have a torch or something and he would just watch the flame and his eyes would be just black, all black. It was scary. You didn't know what to expect. You were like, oh my God, I think he may kill me or something. I'm going to be okay. No. They were pretty strict over there on drugs. So I don't think it was drug related. I would think it would be possession of some sort. That would be my thing. I think that there are a lot of kids that would go in there that were possessed by something. So that was written by a 17-year-old kid when he had just gotten out of this youth facility. And obviously you can tell it was written by a kid. But his whole thing of what he had seen was there were certain kids in this facility that had just jet black eyes. And he thought that possibly they were possessed or whatnot. I don't know what black-eyed kids are. I know that they could be possessed. They could be demonic. They could be possibly alien. Who knows? But they are creepy, and I don't like them. Nick French, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And welcome to the live, my friend. Glad that you're here. Well, Danny, it wouldn't be on LSD because there was no whites. Stay away from kratom. I don't know. Some people swear by kratom, but kratom is, I don't think it's very good for you. I am drinking tea tonight, Aramek. But I do have my Coca-Cola in glass bottles. Just do some research on it, Squatch, Grandma. Because awesome. Thank you, Faye. Let me make sure I got it really quick before we go any further. That way, if you have to send it again, I can tell you. Got it. Thank you. Appreciate you. Just do some research, Sasquatch Grandma, about kratom, because I've heard bad things about it, but I've heard people say it was good too. I kind of go with what, like, I don't trust anything, you know, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I heard that Arabic! Thank you, my brother. I heard that it's like a natural kind of a natural feeling, or not, well, opiates are natural too, but like it's kind of like an alternative to opiates. But I've heard that people have gotten really sick and died from it, I guess. So I don't know. I'm not an expert. I would just be careful and do your research. What's up, SG? How are you, my friend? Johnny Ohms, never heard of it. That's good. You'll never hear good things about quitting kratom. Good stuff. Aramic, thank you very much. Much like morphine. Yeah, so elderberry works great on the flu. You know, that's funny because in The Walking Dead, I don't know if you guys ever watched The Walking Dead, but when in like season 3, when they were in the prison, or no, they weren't in the prison. Were they in the prison? When the pigs got everyone sick, and they made, and Herschel made elderberry tea to help everybody. Elderberry tea works great. It's fucking weird that I remember that. Hey, Donna. Ew, that was so gross. I just got an email saying I got a subscription, which let me know you were live. Lucas Williams, that's funny shit. Oh, because someone gave you a membership. Oh, that's cool. Donna Harmon. Yeah, they were in the prison. Okay, yeah. All right. I love The Walking Dead. I don't care. My grandma used to make elderberry wine and elderberry pies and shit. Negan is awesome, IE Native. Negan is the greatest villain. I don't know. The governor was pretty awesome, but Negan is fucking badass. I love Negan. Negan is the man. Thanks, SG. Well, didn't they just make like a NyQuil? Elderberry NyQuil? Let's drink some elderberry NyQuil. Dude, oh my God, Andy Davis. I often thought about that. So, you know how like Rick and his team were supposed to be the good guys? We like all rooted for Rick. Well, if you ever noticed, Rick and the good guys always invaded other people and killed people without asking questions. They like killed you first. They didn't fucking care. But like we rooted for them. What if they were the bad guys? You know what I mean? Like Fear the Walking Dead's good. I love it all. Thank you, Oscar. Appreciate you. No, not at first, Mert. You're right. Not at first. But then they started going fucking haywire. Rick's like, don't you do it. And he always held the gun like this. He's like, Carl! Get out, Carl! In March of 2015, happy birthday! Happy birthday, Winter! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, Winter Sky! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, Winter Sky! You thought I was going to forget, didn't you? But I didn't. There she is. I was going to be like, she's not even here anymore. She's like, it's my birthday. Fuck that live. Thanks, 59. All right. So, you know what? Dogman encounter for Winter Sky's birthday. And then we're going to hit a lot lizard story. And I got some good ones tonight. March 2015, I woke up at around 3 a.m. I have no idea why. Usually I wake up to drink water or use the pisser, but I needed neither of those. Anyway, I was living in Southern California at that time near Camp Pendleton. And where I lived, there was my neighborhood, then just wilderness. There was nothing beyond my neighborhood for miles, just land. Just for FYI, I have always been into the supernatural, but I don't think I really believed until this experience. Before I went to sleep, I opened my window because it was hot, and I had my curtain shades open and pulled up to make sure the air was getting in. So, 3 a.m., I wake up and just look out my window, which was next to my bed. And I thought I saw someone standing at the crosswalk across the street. I was just thinking, that's weird, because usually we didn't have runners or early morning walkers until about 5 a.m. So I got up and went to my window so I could get a closer look. And what I saw, I will never forget. This thing was standing, but its legs were bent and it had white fur covering its body. However, I could still see skin. Its back was hunched over and its face looked like some sort of dog's. If this creature was standing up, I would say it would easily be 8 feet. Now, mind you, it was 3 a.m., so I'm just like, wow, okay, you're hallucinating, go back to bed. However, I was literally paralyzed and could not take my eyes off of this creature. Its nose and ears just looked so similar to a dog or some sort of wolf or coyote. Where I lived, coyotes were prevalent. However, they never came into our neighborhood. So, as you can tell, I was just completely in shock and nervous. And as I was about to shut my window, this thing turned its head and stared right at me. It's standing directly under a streetlight, so I could see its features very clear. Its eyes were black, but somehow they were shining to where you could really see them staring right into your soul. That did it for me. I slammed my window shut, pulled my blinds down, and closed the curtains and jumped right back into bed, pulling the covers over my face. I never fell back to sleep that night. Fast forward 2 years later, June of 2017, I again woke up, but this time I was hungry. So I went downstairs to get some food and sat at my kitchen table. In the chair that I sat, my back was facing the window on the side of the house. This window was about a foot off the ground, and it was open about 10 inches because my mom forgot to shut it. Now, that window had no screen because it had gotten torn somehow, and we just didn't get around to replacing it. Anyhow, I had my earbuds in and I'm watching a movie or a show. I can't remember exactly, but I heard a noise. I could tell that it was not from my movie or from outside. So I paused to listen. Then I heard heavy breathing, but I have never heard this kind of breathing before. And it was coming from directly behind me, right outside the window. The breathing was rough, rigid, and sounded not anything like a human. I was too scared to turn around, but the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up and I had goosebumps everywhere. The breathing lasted for about 2 minutes, and then I heard heavy footsteps, as if this thing was walking away. After 10 minutes had passed, I shut the window, locked it, closed the curtains, and ran back to my room. I told my parents about my first encounter the next day after it happened. I was 16 at the time and still living with them. They just kind of looked at me and laughed and said I was seeing things, and it was probably just a coyote. After my second encounter, I told them the next day, and that time they really thought I was tired or hearing things. My question to everyone out there is, has anybody ever experienced anything this similar to this? Was this just a coyote, or do you guys think this really was a dogman? It's been bothering me for a while now. I think they answered their own question. Because it was a pervert. That's why, Ford. It was doing some like in the light. Crypto Work Pro. Happy New Year to you, my friend. SDL. Definitely not a coyote. Nothing better than a Coca-Cola out of a glass bottle. Yeah, I know exactly. What I saw in 1994 was definitely not a coyote. Definitely. Cans are good. Cans are good. But Coke in a glass bottle and Mexican Coke in a glass bottle is by far the greatest. And no, unfortunately, it is not the Mexican Coke. The only place we can get Mexican Coke in the Adirondacks is at Chipotle. And I go to Chipotle periodically and just buy a 6-pack of it. And they look at me like I'm an idiot. I'm like, I just need a 6-pack of Coke. And they're like, you don't want any of our food? And I'm like, I can't eat it. Can't eat your food. I can't eat for another month. Actually, another month and a half, and then I can eat meat. Yay. No, this Coke ain't that sweet. Thanks, Aramic. I'm getting it. I'm actually going to hey Jeff, love your show. Who did your Dogman art? A subscriber did that for me. Okay. Why do people put peanuts in their Coke? Because they're fucking weird. Mexican Coke is a thing, Robert or Robin Mungle. Mexican Coke, it's truly, that's what they call it. And it is much different than American Coke. I know what you're thinking, though. And it's not the Coke. It's the burping Coke. MJ, they're all gone, dear. They're all gone. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Mexican Coke uses real sugar cane, Colleen McDermott. Real sugar cane. In a little bit of. Here's Tiggy. Aw, buddy. Peanuts and Coke is okay. No, peanuts and Coke is not okay. Peanuts and Coke, boiled peanuts are not okay. Peanuts in a can that is dry roasted are good. Peanuts in the shell that are roasted are good. Boiled peanuts and peanuts in Coca-Cola, nah. Oh, I drink my Coke out of cans too, but I have bottled Coke for live streams. Boiled peanuts are the filthiest fucking shit ever. Boiled peanuts are like chicory. And when people try to pawn off chicory as coffee, that is fucking gross. I got your salty nuts right here, Andy Davis. I'll never forget the first time I had boiled peanuts. The one time, and ironically enough, it was when I lived in Florida, and that's where I had chicory. Chicory, ugh. But I'm sitting at my work, and I was the internet sales manager at a Dodge dealership, and the sales manager, the floor manager, came walking around, and he's got this bag of peanuts, right? And I'm like, "What do you got there?" And he's like, I got some peanuts. And I'm like, can I have some? And he's like, you like peanuts? And I'm like, I like peanuts. Who doesn't like peanuts? And he goes, they're awful salty. And I'm like, even better. I'm like, put some on my desk. So he dibbles some on my desk. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, there's something wrong with these peanuts. And he goes, no, my wife just made them for me today. And I'm like, your wife made them? And he's like, you pop them in your mouth. And I put it in my mouth and I'm like, what the fuck is that? He goes, that boiled peanut. Boiled peanut. Aramic, thank you so much, my brother. My brother from another mother. Aramic! What's up, Mike Turner? How come I can't get a goddamn hit off my jewel? My jewel ain't working. Hang on 1 second. God damn it. What the fuck? This is making me mad. Is it empty? It's empty. What the hell? That's why. There we go. There we go. All right, here we go. Lot lizard story. Lot lizard. Lottie, lottie dottie. We likes to potty. Here we go, kids. Lot lizard time. It is the lot lizard time. Are you ready for the lot lizard time? I need to hear 3 yeses for lot lizards. All right, there we go. This one I think is one of my best. One of my best. The flickering fluorescent lights of the Last Chance Oasis rest stop buzzed with a nervous energy, a stark contrast to the inky blackness pressing in from the surrounding desert. Dust devils danced across the cracked asphalt, mirroring an unease that settled in Dale's gut. He'd been on the road for 14 hours, hauling a load of industrial piping from Phoenix to El Paso, and exhaustion was a physical weight. He figured a quick nap and a lukewarm coffee from a vending machine would be enough to get him through the long stretch. He parked his semi, its engine groaning its final protest, and stretched his weary limbs. The Oasis was mostly empty. Just his rig and a couple of beat-up pickups huddled near the pumps. He noted the stillness. Usually, even at this ungodly hour, there was a couple of other truckers grabbing a bite. Tonight, the silence was thick, almost suffocating. He shuffled towards the grubby little building, pushing open the door. The rusty hinges protested with a metallic scream. The air inside was heavy, thick, with a stale aroma of old coffee and desperation. The cashier, a woman with eyes that seemed to have seen too much, barely acknowledged him with a bored nod. He bought his coffee, the lukewarm liquid, barely a comfort, and headed back to his rig. That's when he saw her. She was sitting on the edge of his trailer, silhouetted against the weak glow of a parking lot light. Her figure was unsettling. She was short and stout, with limbs that seemed disproportionately thick. Her hair, a tangled nest of dark curls, hung around her face, obscuring her features. She wore a tattered, too small dress that strained against her bulk, and her bare feet, surprisingly small, dangled precociously. Dale, a man not easily spooked by strange sights on the road, felt a shiver crawl up his spine. He had seen his share of odd characters at rest stops, but this one felt wrong. "Hey," he called out, his voice strained. "You need something?" She didn't answer. She just tilted her head slightly, her eyes unseen beneath the curtain of hair. He took a step closer, his coffee forgotten in his hand. The smell hit him then. The cloying sweetness mixed with something earthly and rotten, like decomposing leaves and too ripe fruit. It made his stomach churn. Look, Dale said. I'm trying to keep his voice steady. You can't be hanging around here. This is a private lot. Why don't you go on now? Finally, she moved. Slowly, she unfolded herself from the side of the truck, and she stood, and the truck lurched. The suspension groaned in protest as though something had been leaning a great weight on it. Her head tilted, and Dale saw her face, barely obscured by the wild curls. Her features were coarse, almost porcelain, with small, beady eyes that glittered in a dim light. Her lips were thick and wet, pulled into a wide, toothy grin that didn't reach her eyes. And in that grin, Dale saw something that made his blood run cold, an unnatural hunger. Looking for a good time, big boy? Her voice was like gravel sliding down a rusty chute, low and rumbling. Dale's instincts screamed at him to run. This wasn't just some oddball hooker. This was something else entirely. He stumbled backward, dropping his coffee. She took a step forward, her movement surprisingly fluid with her bulky form. He could see the strange, wet sheen of her skin and an unnerving sway of her belly as she moved. Before he could react, she lunged at him, her hands surprisingly strong, gripping his arms, and the smell intensified, thick and suffocating. He tried to yell, but her grip was too tight, her breath foul, damp wind against his face. He tried to fight, but it was like wrestling a bear made of dough. With surprising speed and the strength that felt unnatural, she pulled him in closer, her body pressing against his. He could feel her wet breath on his face, and then, with a horrifying wet sound, he felt something else, something slick and invasive violating him. What began as a struggle soon became paralysis of fear. His mind screamed, but his body was locked. Not understanding the violation, he could feel every inch of her against his flesh. Every move was a torment. He didn't know how long it lasted. Time seemed to warp and bend. The only constants her disgusting scent and violation of her touch. When she finally pulled herself away, Dale crumbled to the ground, a broken, quivering mess. She stood over him, her grin still wide, her eyes glittering. Without another word, she scurried back into the shadows, a grotesque silhouette fading into the darkness. Dale lay there for what felt like an eternity. A vile aftertaste lingered on his skin. He eventually pulled himself to his feet. His body screamed in protest. He didn't look for her again. He didn't stop. He just climbed back into his rig, started the engine, and drove. He never stopped at another rest stop alone again. He'd heard stories, whispered rumors passed between truckers on the CB radio. Stories about a squat, fleshy creature that stalked the lone highways, a creature that preyed on vulnerable, a nightmare born of the darkness that lingered on the edges of the road. And Dale knew, with a bone-chilling certainty, that he had been a victim of this lot lizard, and that the memory of her was something that would never leave him. He'd been violated by a monster, and the roads felt a lot more lonely now. I told you it was a good one. That was by far my best. By far the best. I got one more good one, too. No rubber gloves. No rubber gloves. Was it human? No, it was a lot lizard, M. Allen, the most ferocious cryptid ever known to man. The lot lizard. Spreading glee. Luke Neely, what up, brother? The bungle shirt, baby. State trooper. State pooper. What's up, Steve Outdoors? How are you, buddy? Another day in Brooklyn. In the zoo. This is Brooklyn. Larry Kahn. I mean, the lot lizards are evil, devious creatures. Especially that one. Smelling of raunchiness. Violating that poor man. I think everyone's ex-wife Ford sucks. Everyone's ex-wife. Back in 1979, we owned a ranch that was about 70 or 80 miles away of... Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Back in 1979, we owned a ranch that was about 70 or 80 miles away from Abilene. I was living on the ranch at the time. We had a documented worker who was in a very remote area of Mexico. He was very much out in the middle of nowhere to start with, no transportation, so he had to walk 30 minutes or 30 miles to get close. And we would go and pick him up. Presidio was not far away from the Marfa Lights. But this area he was walking through was very much desert terrain, and I remember it was December, around holiday time. The weather wasn't cold, it was kind of hot. He was having to walk. He walked at night because it was so hot during the day. And he was telling me the story. We were building a fence and we were just talking and everything. And he's telling me about, well, I asked him the chupacabra. And he's talking and said one time, he was telling me in Spanish, one time I was walking and he said a strange person appeared out of nowhere, he said. There was a little bit of moonlight. He could see where he was going. He was trying his best to describe the guy, he said, talking about I said, what did he wear? And he was trying to tell me what the guy had on. He said, I couldn't see his face. He had something over his head. I said, was it a sombrero? He said, no. It turned out he described it was a hoodie. But that was, gosh, a long time ago. Hoodies were still popular, but he was telling me about this person. He was hard to understand. Remember, he was telling me in Spanish. And he asked him, is it time for your food? And he said, I thought that was weird because, when somebody wanted food, they'd say, can I have some of your food or something like that? And I kind of related, what were you talking about a while ago? Black-eyed kids. He was a religious man. He was very scared. He started crying. And he's telling me about this. He's describing this person. He said, it's time for your food. And Miguel just he didn't know what to do. He said his eyes turned red. You've got to remember, this was 2 a.m. and nobody was around for 20 miles or so. No towns or anything close. Miguel said he was so scared he dropped to his knees when this person or whatever it was had red eyes. All he could see was the red eyes, and he started praying. And he said he kept praying and praying and crying and everything. He was crying when he was telling me this experience. I said, Miguel, it's okay. And he said he needed to talk about it. He had felt it in for a long time, and he prayed and prayed. He said it seemed like 15 minutes, and when he looked up, the person or whatever it was gone. Maggie Mayhem, have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Chicken heads. The thing that attacked me during sleep paralysis. That's creepy. That's creepy. What's up, 3Cat Mom? How are you, dear? This is for all my mates down in the land down under that eat is it Vitamate? Vitamedge sandwiches? Anyway, this is for all my subscribers in Australia. I encountered a Catman humanoid being in the woods in northern Queensland. I was working at a security detention center in a place called Weipa up here. It's absolutely vast land. There's woods stretching for miles and miles. It was about 3 a.m. when the encounter occurred. There were 4 security posts around a fence line, which we had to man and make sure the detainees didn't escape. I was stationed at Zulu 3 post, which was situated behind the detention center, where those 7 Lebanese detainees escaped 3 months before I started working. It was 3 a.m. I'm sitting at my post, watching a bird swoop down from the top of the fence, collecting bugs and lizards and such, when I heard a crash in the woods behind my post. This caused all of the occupied birds to wake up and start calling. There were thousands of them up here in northern Queensland. I quickly got up and ran to see what the commotion was all about. Is when I saw what the birds were cackling about. It was a humanoid cat-like thing standing 2 meters beyond my post. It was making its way through the trees until it saw me standing there watching it. It stopped, putting both its hands up, which looked like long claws. It stood maybe 8 feet in height. I was trying to see what it looked like through the darkness, but all I could see was the shape of its face, almost like a tiger's. Honestly, it looked ferocious, and it was built like it was made to do serious damage, standing on 2 legs. It then walked backward into the woods and vanished into the darkness. I was so glad I had 40 feet of fence between me and that monstrosity. For the remainder of my time working there, I kept my back facing towards the detention center, and I faced front toward the woods. This encounter I'll definitely take to my grave. Vegemite. Have you heard anything else from the guy from West Virginia? No, I have not heard anything from him in the last couple of days. Nope. You have to know how to eat. Simone, do you eat Vegemite? I heard you eat it on toast. Is that correct? Colleen McDermott. It's interesting that, so I found that experience with the cat-like humanoid interesting because it was in Australia, but I've usually heard them on toast. I knew it was on toast, but I usually we've heard of these feline-like humanoid creatures coming out of Central America and South America usually, and I don't know why that is. Yeah, most definitely 59th. Love the love. What's up? How are you, dear? Yeah, I probably will hear from him sometime this week. Maybe. I thought I'd hear from him beforehand. Aramic, I joined a dating site for people my age. It's an older app called Carbon Dating. Marmite. Yes, Marmite. Yeah, it's similar. It's almost the exact same thing, right, Sonia? on buttered toast. Ew. I don't know if we'd call them werecats. Maybe. I think the were, people always think when you associate were with like changing, but I think they're like permanently that way. But if you look at like the ancient, like Aztec and like Mayan hieroglyphs, that like they depict feline, like large feline like creatures. I come from the land down under. Da, 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 da. Happy birthday, Mert. Happy birthday to you, Mert. Sour sop. Better than durian. Ooh, durian is grody. What's up, Brian Mons? How are you, buddy? Good seeing you. I love corned beef out of a can. Corned beef is the fucking best out of a can. Claire Harris, my dad is doing good. Thank you. Locked down like a raptor in Jurassic Park. Mr. Bungle is one of my favorite bands. I love Mike Patton. Lychee. I saw it, Danny. Wampus Cat. Yeah, Wampus Cat. I don't know though. I haven't heard that. I come from the land down under. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, I'm just doing something related. Man wolf. Yes, man. So man cat, yeah. I want to try canned corned beef. Corned beef hash out of a can is the greatest shit. It's the only thing I can eat. Dude, right back at you, Boosafus. I would love to watch Phantomas and the Melvins perform together. The Phantomas Melvins Big Band. One of the greatest albums ever. Or Tomahawk. Tomahawk is another great band with Mike Patton. What's up, Tommy? How are you? Thank you. I've had this haircut for about a month now, though. The stash does look good. It's my 1970s gay porn stash. I got to think of a good name. Ryder. Ryder Clutch. That's my 1970s porn name. Ryder Clutch. Yeah. Y'all heard of Dirt Diggler? My name's Ryder Clutch. Baby. Ermic, this one is for you from Ryder Clutch. I would say around June of 2013 in Salina, Utah, I was walking under a street lamp with a friend. He was talking and I'm looking at the stars as we walked. We walked under the street lamp that was also shining light upwards. Plain as day, I saw a flying humanoid, head, body, arms, and legs, almost like a human, fly above the street lamp, flying about 10 feet from the edge of the asphalt road, 30 to 40 feet off the ground, flying in an opposite direction as we were walking. The creature was traveling south on a west side of the road. The height, I would say, is around the same size as an adult human. Its arms, legs, and body were athletic looking, but looked like it hardly had any muscle. It had 5 fingers like us, but had 3 toes. Toes were narrow, pointed down, like a cone or a triangle. It had 2 wings, one coming off of each shoulder. The length of the wing was about the length of the creature's arms. The wings were narrow and had very little surface area. I didn't see the creature flap its wings to fly. Its wings looked too small to support its body. Plus, the body was parallel to the ground and was elongated, like it was lying down while flying. The weight of its hips, legs, feet should have been sagging toward the ground. It had small hooks, hook-like things, that came off the creature's legs, mid-calf, facing outward. I did not see any breasts or a penis. I don't know what sex it was. Hopefully, it does not reproduce, but I'm sure it does. I've told many people about what I saw that night. Most people don't believe me. Although I did run into a guy that saw one. I'd say the same species of creature. He was also camping in Salina, Utah area. It flew down, swooped at him, and made a creepy noise. He saw Ryder's clutch flying. Hi, Marty. Absolutely, Aramic. Because its caterpillar landed right here, baby. Right here. Catwoman. Catwoman. I have friends everywhere these days. New York State has the worst, Danny Sanders. The worst. I have to go, guys. Good night. Addicted to knowledge. No. Have a good night, dear. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, though. Paulie Pete, what's up? I missed somebody's message. Darren, that's not true. I've said hi to you and commented to your comment about 3 times tonight. I can't read every comment. Don't be a Karen, Darren K. It's okay. Gearing up for our first winter storm. I can't wait to get one. 12 inches. Damn. Danny, be nice. Be nice. It's hard to read everybody's. It's hard. Like, and I've said a bunch. I've commented on Darren's. It's all right. Darren Karen, we love you. I love you a lot, Darren Karen. I love you a lot. Damn, Mershals. Ryder Clutch loves you a lot, Darren. I fucking love you. 12 inches long. Bring you to the truck stop. Say my name, 10 millimeter Peter. What would you do with all that money? I don't know. Shit. I don't know. Maybe something. I know you do, Andy Davis. Right on my forehead. Oh. Sonny, I just got some new silver, brother. Actually, I got the Coca-Cola silver. I don't know if you've seen that. They're making Aramic! Thank you, Aramic. I won't ever ignore you because you pay to play, baby. I'm sorry. That was mean. Southern Charmer, what's up? I didn't see you in here earlier. I'm sorry if I didn't say hi to you. What's up, Chad Boswell? Samara Osborne having phone difficulties. Ryder Clutch. Fucking, that's great. I'm going to make a t-shirt that says Ryder Clutch and just have a big mustache on it. What's up, Georgianne? How are you? I haven't seen you for a while. Aramic is generous in more than one way. Mert spelt the name right. Mert, you spelt the name right. Ryder Clutch. With a mustache. You know where that came from? The mustache? Generation Kill. Do you guys remember that TV show? Godfather wants the mustache shaved off. Godfather wants that mustache shaved off. No, I've had these, bub. I can't do it. Darren, I was only kidding, buddy. Ryder Clutch loves you, Darren. Ryder Clutch loves you a lot. I got a 1-800 number if you want to call sometime. Fucking idiot. I'm an idiot. No, it's not 1-800. It's not 1-900. It's 1-800. 1-800. 1-800 Ride Clutch. Spelled CLTCH. What the fuck is wrong? No, I don't have a Woodstock tattoo. Oh, I swear to God, you got a Woodstock. No Woodstock tattoo. Nope. Thinking of a different creator. I do have a tramp stamp, though. I do. It's a big one. It's a bunch of hair. Want to see it? Right there. It's my hairy tramp stamp. All right. One night when I was driving to a friend's house, we took a shortcut to his place. We drove fast past this faceless kid who looked to be in his late teens or early 20s, according to what he was wearing. He was normal human size. He had a black hoodie on, and looked right at us as he walked under the streetlight as we were driving by. He looked almost like G.I. Joe's Cobra Commander face, but darker gray. Cobra! We were spooked and talked about him for the rest of the night in disbelief. What happened while I was in my early 30s? At my mom's house, since I could remember when we had just moved in sometime in the late 80s. I don't see them very often, but three mischievous grayish green beings are smaller, about 3 feet tall or so. They're really skinny, so thin that you can see their spinal column and their small stubby-like tail. They too are faceless, and they love to play tricks on whoever might be in the house. You know, when you leave something in one spot and the next time it's gone, then miraculously reappears in that same spot you left it? It's these guys who love to take and hide people's belongings. As a kid, they would snatch things from my hands and run away, so I would chase them. They never meant me any harm. They just loved to mess with whatever they felt would be funny to them. One night, I was around 35 or so. I'm now 44. I'm sitting in my living room watching TV. And to my left, someone sat down 3 feet away from me as I heard the leather and saw an indentation. Then to my right, one of the dining room table chairs moved a good 6 inches, and I felt someone almost hovering over me. And then something touched the back of my neck, so I knew it was them trying to prank me. So I thought I would trick them this time. I got up and said out loud, I need to take a leak, and headed toward the hallway as the restroom is the second door to the right. There's a dividing wall between the hallway and the kitchen, and once I just stepped past the beginning of the wall, I reversed back, swung over the kitchen side, and there it was. It was crouched over, waiting for me to pass by. It heard me fake it out, looked right back at me, was surprised I saw it, and disappeared right away when it realized I had tricked it. I think they are interdimensional beings and most likely are not from here, possibly a certain type of gray alien, but with a shield-like covering over their face. I ended up sketching one day. Anyway, thanks for letting me share. Stefan, have a good night, my friend. Aaron, what's up, Aaron Williams? How are you, buddy? What's up, Coker? Georgie Coker. Coker. A good. Andy Davis. Dude, we have the same thinking. Little people migrate. Yeah. Right on, San Francisco. Yeah, you definitely don't want to ever meet up with Ryder Clutch in the restroom. No spit is involved. He's allergic to spit. Stefan, we're glad that you're here with us tonight. Rattly can. Bang, you mother, what's up? How are you, Bang? True grit. Lewiston, Maine. I love Lewiston. There used to be a head shop we used to drive out to. We'd leave the island, Cheesy Weasel, and go to Lewiston. Bang. I'll take Dogman over aliens? No way, dude. At least aliens, have a good time with you. They, put you on the table and get you naked. Dogman just scares you. You know, aliens, probe you. They got big fingers too. They're like, they love the booter. Fucking aliens in the booter. I don't know. They use spit though. Sometimes aliens will use spit. An alien spit is not clean. It is green and gross. Remember Cannonball Run? I think, yeah, Cannonball Run. That doctor that had the weird eyes that were like this, and he had that finger. Cannonball Run is great. Dude, the doctor was the best. They open the door and there he is. He's like, aliens are good at it, hippie. Aliens are good at it. They don't miss. Pauly P, I don't control the ads in my videos. It's YouTube. I don't have any control over it. Sorry. I would have loved to have seen it in the drive-thru. I get a little portion of it. They get a ton. They actually, when a subscriber donates money to the channel, they get 20% of it. No, we have one up here. We have one, but I live in a tourist town for the Adirondacks, so we have one for the tourist people. Do aliens have big hands or go big nose, big feet out? George sounds like a man that knows. George. Concord, California. All right. This one is one of my favorite this is one of my favorite experiences, and I'm glad I found it the other night. The night of February 27th, 2017, in early AM, I was staying at the Best Western in Big Bear. At approximately 12:35 in the morning, I was walking to my car alone to retrieve my luggage. It had been snowing and was extremely dark. My car was facing a country road. When I hit the unlock button on my car, the parking and interior lights came on. This allowed me to see two eyes reflecting in the middle of the road, about 10 to 15 feet from me. At first, I thought it was a deer. I have lived in Colorado and I am accustomed to seeing wildlife. I instantly stopped and remained still as I did not want to scare off what I thought was a deer. As my eyes glanced downward, I noticed that this was not a deer. It looked like a white, hairless, naked man on all fours. It was at least 4 feet in height on all fours, probably around 15 feet if it stood up. There was a brief moment as our eyes made contact. It then, as quickly as I have ever seen an animal turn around, run as fast as a cheetah away from me, and then straight up a tree. I'm frozen in disbelief, and I said out loud, "You gotta be flippin' kidding me." Just as I was going to convince myself that this possibly couldn't be happening, it leapt from treetop to treetop, and I could see its full outline as it did so. I've never heard of such a creature, but I have found other videos and pictures online that look exactly like what I saw. The speed and strength it had is like nothing I had ever seen before. The creature was definitely solid. It appeared as if it was coming toward me, possibly hunting me. I don't know what stopped it. Was it the lights that went on? It had no visible genitalia. It had very human-like qualities. First, it was a new moon, and I believe it was an eclipse that day as well. There was a creek across the street. I don't know if that had anything to do with the experience, but It was also a day I was also a day from menstruating. If this had been a huge green-eyed gray alien, it would have made more sense. I've heard of those, but this was unlike anything I had ever seen or heard of. None of it made sense. The speed, the agility of this creature, and there shouldn't be any way that the treetops should have been able to hold the weight of this thing. It appeared to be flashing like a TV going on and off of reception as it sprinted up the tree. It also did appear to disrupt the foliage as it did so. I immediately called my dad after I rushed back into the hotel room. My son was asleep, and I was understandably in a state of shock. At this time, no one knew what hotel I was staying in. As I'm crying on the phone with my dad, the hotel phone rang. I answered it, and it was only a dial tone. Then there was a knock at the hotel room door. Once again, no one was there. At this point, my son woke up due to the commotion. I told him it was a scary dream. I gave my dad the hotel information, and he advised me to go wait in the lobby with my son. As we were leaving, there was another knock, but this was at the back sliding door that went out to the private fenced-in patio. This was a one-time encounter, and it's unfortunate that I still live in fear from this experience. I was raised Christian, and this humanoid does not fit any category with which I am familiar. I don't know why this happened and what I am supposed to learn from it. In addition, the hotel phone number, I found out later, it has 6 sixes in a row. I don't know if that had anything to do with what happened. I was also taught that demons can't have physical bodies unless it's possessing somebody. I can't imagine it flying in a spacecraft due to the primal manner. Is it transdimensional? Nephilim? What was going on? Was it coming after me? Why didn't it do what it was set out to do? My previous beliefs about the world and the way things work was tossed upside down. While it's thought-provoking, it's been very traumatic for me, and I have been in a panic state since it's happened. Thank you. What's up, Jay? How are you? M. Allen, have a good night. Thank you for hanging out with us. Mert, good luck with your surgery in 10 days. I hope you'll be here before your surgery next Saturday. I've seen a triangular craft a few times. Ain't that true everywhere, though, Andy Davis? Mert, good luck, buddy. I'll be rooting for you. You don't know what my thought on this matter is. William Menendez. I'd imagine so. I imagine so. And thank you, Bang. Thank you. We got a little bit of snow, Jay. Just a little bit. Yeah, not much. Just a little. $20. It's $20. Rider clutch. You like the mustache, Brian Mons? I knew you'd like it, buddy. They're getting better. They are getting better. Mustache. We had, I don't know, we got hit with a storm that had 8 inches like a month ago. And then we had some great days of sunshine and such. And then dawn. Kathy McDermott, $35.95 will be just fine. $35.95. Nick B with the Paul Peralta. Dude, I like that, Nick B. Retro Sheriff. It's my gay porn stash, baby. Thank you, Janin. Did I say your name right? Janine? Janine. Duh. Janine. Duh. What an idiot. Janin. Janin. Ty Stone, I missed your comment, but I see people saying we're praying for you, and I'll be praying for you. I have no idea for what, but I will look back in a little bit. Ooh, don't forget the midget crew. Ooh, midget porn. Ooh. Ryder Holmes. When my daughter turns 18, then I can. I just can't yet until lung cancer. Oh, dude. That's sad. I'm sorry. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking. Redstone, Paulie Pete, is that what you're talking about? Redstone Arsenal? 65. Damn it. That's still too young. I'm praying for you. And prayers do work. My dad was literally put in palliative care last year. He was comatose from November 21st until June 5th when he got released. And he died 2 times. His whole body was infected with just this fucking wretched infection. But put in palliative care. And for a long time, I prayed and prayed and prayed, and nothing happened. He kept getting worse. And I stopped praying for a little bit, right? And then Dark Waters, James, and me had a conversation one night, and he prayed with me. And then I kept praying again, and my dad started getting better and better. So prayer does work. But I did lose, like I literally lost it for a little bit. So I was right. Redstone's weird. I had a subscriber that was there. I know, Samara, thank you. I had a subscriber that was down there and he sent me pictures of all of these Redstone Arsenal. He sent me pictures of all of these rock formations that were like built, like they weren't just stacked naturally all around that area. It was really, really weird. Papa Bear, how are you? I've been well, thank you. No, they were circular. It was a weird setup. In the swamps, yup. Lil Ams 12, how are you? How are you? My house shakes every day from redstone booming. No shit. Oh yeah, baby. I'm glad that you're here with us, Lil. This could quite possibly be a damn rider clutch. Hang on a second. Oh, my hands are up. I'm just doing the ball shake. Fuck. There we go. They're getting a little sticky down there. Sticky. 2 hours in, we're doing good. New Powell Sword and Skull Flight deck out soon. When I stopped skating probably 10 years ago, like right before I got sick, actually. So no, longer, probably 12, 13 years ago. The last board I had was an 8th Street, Nick B. It was jiggle, jiggle time. Jiggle, jiggle time. Balls and John. Yeti. No, I don't remember it. Seems to doubt me. 59. Yeah, people have looked into that, Ron B, but it's not, I mean, just judging from like statistic wise, it's not a big thing at all. No, skateboarding, Pauly Pete. Rider clutch. All right, here we go. This might be a Thunderbird, but maybe not. This happened 6 years ago. My boyfriend and I were visiting the Rangangtui Bird Sanctuary here in South India. Rangangtui, whatever. I got to pronounce this correctly. Ranganathitui Bird Sanctuary here in Mysore, South India. An absolutely beautiful place where the Kaviar River flows lazily amongst small, heavily forested islets. The trees crowded with nests of painted storks, spoonbills, cranes, and dozens of other species. Freshwater crocodiles lurk in the dark waters, all too eager to snap up an unwary bird or unfortunate fledgling. Here, the trees are not only home to the birds, but also have large flying fox and Indian fruit bat. It is here we saw it. While gently being rowed around in a small wooden boat, at first we thought it was a fruit bat. Oh, thank you so much, Lil. Thought it was a fruit bat. Although they tend to roost during the day, there were still the odd ones flaunting convention and wheeling around in broad daylight. The first thing we noticed was its size. I know that the Indian fruit bats are large, very large, but this dwarfed them. We closed with nothing obscuring our vision, probably about 50 meters away over open water. It was at least 4 times larger than the large bats, with about a 7-meter or 20-foot wingspan. It had glided while they were flapping. It swooped down to the water and on the wing plucked a 60 to 70 centimeter, about 2-foot fish effortlessly out of the water, carrying it off, thrashing in one claw. Its body was smooth, not furry, and a mixture of grays, whereas the bats were clearly very dark brown to black. As it flew off, its silhouette was clearly not a bat. This was not a flying fox, that I am sure of. I have seen many flying fox up close. This was huge and distinctly different. Also, fruit bats are vegetarian, eating, well, fruit and not fish. I have been an avid student of nature for years, and I am aware that you get fishing bats, but not only are they small, but there are no fishing bats in India. It was not a bird of prey. The membranous skin and wings stretched out behind the bones or its fingers. The Indian flying fox is the largest species in the world. This was bigger, much bigger. They were practically side by side for comparison. RH, what's up? Did I miss saying hi to RH? What's up, RH? How are you, buddy? Could be snow skiing and 2 hours, surfing 2 hours. Sure. Judith, how are you? Why wouldn't we trust RH? I just passed out early. Good seeing you, RH. What's up, Rick? How are you, buddy? Turbo Christ. Holy shit. That's crazy. I didn't realize that those fucking numbers are unbelievable. Holy shit. Maybe. In my bedroom, I caught an aircraft hovering over my house. Kimmel, that doesn't sound crazy. People have had that experiences happen. There was there was an experience, ironically enough. Oh, the Reebok pumps. Ironically enough, Paulie Pete was talking about Redstone Arsenal. And there was a lady, a subscriber of mine, who her dad worked there, was stationed there, and they lived on the outskirts of the area. But she had this weird happening at her house where she saw alien-like people in her house. And one night, half of her room turned this like bright red. Like one wall turned bright red, like a radiating heat red, and it did warm her entire room up. And there was crafts over her house and such. Love my boxer boy. Dude, Reebok pumps were the best. Union Grove. Outside, fireworks, and caught a possum. Ha ha! Jeff, what do you think about Sean Ryan Thin? Sean Ryan Thin? Sean Ryan Thin. Is he fat? Lodo sneakers were great. I used to play soccer and wear Lodos. I don't know. I've listened to him a few times. I'm not gonna say much about it because I don't want to piss anybody off. I don't know. Some part of me thinks like, I don't know. I think he might be a plant. My own personal belief. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of went down the rabbit hole real weird. Like, one day he's all military and then he's talking paranormal, alien, this and that. And I don't know. He's just, you know what I mean? Like, he just fucking, like, one day he's doing military things, which is awesome. Like, I used to watch his military stuff a lot. But then, boop, he's like, hey, look at me. I talk about aliens. I know about this. Look at this. And I know this and know that. And I'm like, how the fuck did you know that when you didn't know that a week ago? Just weird. You know what I mean? That was interesting. The interview, that was interesting, but I don't know. I don't know. SDL, I talk about it all the time, but he never mentioned it beforehand. You know what I mean? It's weird that he never mentioned stuff beforehand. And when people don't mention stuff beforehand, like Mr. Ballin, John Allen, talked about the paranormal since day one. Retired Navy SEAL, didn't talk about Navy SEAL shit, told you his history, and talked about paranormal and strange events and true crime and crazy shit. But if he started out talking about his ops and shit and then went to paranormal, I'd be like, huh, that's a little weird. But he's been true to his game the whole time. That's interesting, Turbo Christ. That's fucking interesting. Everybody read Turbo Christ's comment right now, because that's a fucking thought right there. Holy shit. Wow. Thank you, Amber. Scott Langhorst. Holy shit. Leon Wyndham, I'm not saying that, but like, obviously, like, I don't know. I'm Zach Baggins, and this is the Demon House. Zach Baggins lost me, though, because Zach Baggins wore glasses before Demon House. Before he bought the house, before he bought Demon House, he wore glasses. He does the movie and then says, I have to wear glasses now because of the demon in this house. Dude, you wore glasses for like 6 years when you and Aaron were lovers. Thank you, Brian Mons. No way. John Allen cannot change his channel to free ballin'. He is Mr. Ballin'. He is fucking great. I love John Allen. Like, amazing. No, I know what you mean, Leon. I know what you mean. I completely do. Like, my dad retired from the Navy and worked in naval intelligence, so he saw some shit. I just think it's weird that it's weird. Never mind. All right. In the early 80s, I lived in a small town near the southwest part of the Chattahoochee. I always say this name wrong. Chattahoochee National Forest in Georgia. I was hunting on public lands in the national forest just up the road from home in an area known as Cooper's Creek. I've hunted in and around this area for years and am very familiar with the terrain. When I located a good spot that I thought would give me a good chance for a large buck, I set up my lock-on tree stand about 12 feet off the ground. I was hunting with a 12-gauge shotgun since rifle hunting was not allowed in this area. So fast forward to early November. I'd been hunting in my tree stand several times. This particular hunt was during a late afternoon at around 4:15. I wanted to get there earlier, but I got held up at work. This was a Friday afternoon, and my wife knew that I would not be home until 8:30, and even later if I had bagged a deer. I parked my truck at the trailhead and started hiking into the woods to my trail stand. A walk that would take me 20 minutes. Moving slowly through the forest, since I didn't want to spook any of the wildlife, as I'm walking, I noticed how quiet it was, eerily quiet. I finally arrived, climbed up, and settled in. I began to survey my surroundings. I began to have disconcerting feelings, like somebody's watching me. I just felt like something was out of place. After a while, I kept looking at my watch, wondering how much time I had left until dusk. I thought that I should leave early because of how I was feeling. Then I caught movement to my right side. I slowly turned my head and began looking through the tree canopy. That's when I saw it. I honestly don't know what it was. I was staring into the trees and saw what looked like a large human body, but it had completely blurred. It was moving through the trees. I could clearly see the outline of this figure, but the rest was blurry. I couldn't focus on it. It resembled an out of focus blob of gelatin that was in the shape of human. Whenever it would stop moving, I completely lost sight of it as it blended into the surroundings. I continued to watch it stop and then start moving. I did so for 15 minutes. By that time, I was starting to become scared as I'm thinking about my walk back to my truck. So I waited for another 15 or so. It was getting dark by then, so I slowly climbed out of my stand. Once I hit solid ground, I wasted no time. I sprinted back to my truck. I quickly jumped into the cab. I just sat there in the truck trying to regain my breath. I drove home and said nothing to my wife or anyone else for several weeks. During that time, I tried to convince myself that I had imagined the whole thing. I eventually told my wife one night. She listened and said that it was probably my imagination. I later told my brother, who said a similar thing to my wife. Then I never told anyone else after. I've never hunted those woods again. I didn't go back to get my tree stand. I took a break from hunting for 5 years. I then started up again, but never in that area. I still wonder what I saw that day and have no rational explanation. Years later, I think in 1988, The Predator came out. When I saw the cloaked alien on the screen, I immediately tensed up in fear. That's what I saw. I was shocked. Did I encounter an alien? I still wonder what it was to this day. I no longer hunt or spend any time in the woods. Clint, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. All right. Last lot lizard story of the evening. Lot lizard story, kids. Are you ready for it? Here we go. Clint, thank you again. Bubba, Big Rig Johnson, was not easily spooked. He hauled everything from live chickens to industrial-sized tubs of mayonnaise across every dusty mile of the nation. He'd seen things that would curdle milk, and he wasn't talking about spoiled dairy. But the rest stop just outside of Nowhere, Nebraska was different. It had an energy. Clint, thank you again. Little Amber, thank you again. Usually, the only energy at this place was the hum of idling engines and the occasional grumble of a trucker complaining about fuel prices. Tonight, though, it was crackling like a faulty CB radio. Then, under the dim glow of the sodium light, Bubba saw him. Him was a slight figure leaning against the side of a beat-up pickup truck, wearing those ridiculously short cargo shorts and a tank top that seemed to be struggling to contain, well, not much. He was fluttering his eyelashes at Bubba like a moth drawn to a porch light. Now, Bubba wasn't a homophobe, not really. He just preferred his women with curves, not angles, and preferably not ones that looked like they had been dipped in a vat of glitter. He figured the kid, he looked maybe 20 despite the unsettling deep voice that purred, "Hey there, big fella, need a little companionship?" was just some lost soul trying his luck. "No, son," Bubba rambled, climbing out of his truck. "Just need to stretch my legs and take a whiz." The young man, whose name he'd introduce as Sparkle, let out a giggle that sounded like a chipped teacup. "Suit yourself. But just so you know, I'm versatile. I can be anything you want." Bubba chuckled, thinking that the kid had a hyperactive imagination. He went about his business, ignoring Sparkle's oddly persistent stares. But when he came back to his rig, something was off. His precious chrome bulldog hood ornament was gone. In its place was a rubber duck, a very, very large and slightly unsettling rubber duck. Bubba blinked. He wasn't hallucinating. This was weird. He turned around to find Sparkle, somehow now leaning against his truck. The rubber duck clutched to his chest like a prized possession. "Like my new look?" Sparkle squeaked, his voice now higher and almost duck-like. He was doing a bizarre little waddle. Bubba stared, his brain trying to process the sensory overload. This is not normal, not even for this rest stop. Then the real chaos started. One of the other truckers, a grizzled veteran named Earl, came charging out of his cab, bellowing about his missing mud flaps. "They were custom made, damn it!" he roared. Sparkle, now perched on Earl's hood, giggled. He was covered in what looked suspiciously like Earl's mud flaps, now in the shape of a gaudy, feathery wings. "I'm a butterfly," he shrieked, flapping the mud flap wings enthusiastically. "A beautiful, greasy mud flap butterfly." Another trucker, a quiet guy they called Mouse, whimpered as he discovered his spare tire had been replaced with a giant cheese wheel. The wheel was oozing something that smelled faintly like feet. Sparkle, who at this point was doing an interpretive dance on the hood of a random truck, threw a hunk of cheese at him. Bubba realized with a shudder that went all the way to his toes that this was no regular lot lizard. This was something else, something weird, something perverted, and something that was messing with their livelihoods with gleeful abandon. He saw Sparkle, the mudflap butterfly giant rubber duck wielder, was now staring at Bubba's dashboard, his eyes gleaming with a strange, unsettling desire. He was shape-shifting again, becoming more angular, more chrome. No, 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 Bubba muttered, scrambling into his rig. He slammed the door shut, locking it several times. He could hear Sparkle pounding on the side of his truck, and it sounded like metal. He didn't hesitate. He cranked the engine and threw it into gear, mashing the accelerator, leaving the rest stop and its bizarre shape-shifting menace in a cloud of diesel and dust. He didn't look back. He didn't stop until he hit the state line. Bubba never did figure out what Sparkle was exactly, but he never forgot the night he encountered a shape-shifting lot lizard. And to this day, he always double checks his hood ornament. He might even, he admits, in private, carry a rubber duck as a sort of talisman. You never know, after all, when glitter-covered chaos might come calling, especially those in dusty rest stops. A very large one, Leon. A very, very large one. Aramic would know exactly. Thank you, Aramic. Clint, I literally am 2 hours and 40 minutes in and did all of my crawler experiences, buddy. I'm sorry. I don't have any more. I literally did them all, bub. I'm sorry. I actually don't even have any more experiences. I went through them all right now. I apologize to you. Good night, Polly Pete. I'm your Jewel Viper friend. You're good, buddy. You're good. Good night, Brian Mons. Have a good night, my friend. Let me think. Let me see what I got saved. Hang on. Oh, let me see. Hang on, Clint. Let me see if I can find something for you, buddy. Here we go. This will be the last encounter of the night. Thank you, Clint. This one's for you, buddy. I reside in a medium-sized town in northern Indiana. I was on my way to work when I heard something rustling in the bushes across the... What the fuck? Sorry. I reside in a medium-sized town in northern Indiana. I was on my way to work when I heard some rustling in the brush across the road from me. I looked and couldn't see anything, so I ignored it and carried on walking. As I got to the end of the road, I was about to turn and walk down the hill to the bottom of the next road when I looked around and saw a man on a push bike coming down the hill on the opposite side of the road. As he got further along the road, the lamp posts started to go off one by one as he passed them, and he seemed shocked by something that he had seen in the darkness. He fell off his push bike and loudly shouted out some obscenity. He then got off the ground and brushed himself off before picking himself up and getting on back onto his bike. He then pedaled off and sped down the road. I looked around and saw a shadow dart from a tree into the brush. I thought to myself, did I just see that or did I imagine it? I was running late, so I had to carry on walking to work. The next day, I was on my way to work, passing that same area of brush, when, just like the previous day, I heard something rustling around in there. Once again, I ignored it and walked by. I got to the end of the road like I did the day before and looked around at the area where the man had fallen off his bike. I chuckled to myself because I had found it mildly amusing at the time. Then, to my surprise, a lamppost started going off one by one, leaving one lamppost lit, just like the day before. Then all of a sudden, there was this eerie silence that fell upon the area, and I could see something moving around in the shadows. I was spooked, so I quickly ran a bit further down the road to a safe vantage point, where I continued watching to see who or what would emerge from the darkness. Then I saw what... Thank you, Tito. Thank you so much. Then I saw what it was, and I was shocked to my core. There was this creature that was humanoid and tall. It had long, spindly arms that hung past its knees. Its hands only appeared to have 3 fingers with no opposable thumb. Then I looked up at its head, which was large and ovular, with large black almond-shaped eyes and 2 small holes where its nose should have been, with a mouth that had large, sharp teeth instead of human-like teeth. The alien-looking creature looked right at me and appeared to be slowly moving in my direction. I got the feeling like this thing wanted to walk over to me and communicate, but I was too freaked out and scared by its appearance, so I immediately stepped backward in shock, which caused the creature to react and stop. I could see the creature had a look of disappointment, I guess, on its face before it slowly turned around and headed back across the road, strangely swinging its spindly long arms from side to side as it moved. Its movement was very bizarre. There was a closed metal gate in the direction it was heading, and to my shock, the creature passed right through it like it wasn't there. I was in shock and immediately took off running. I ran all the way to work, and when I arrived, one of my work colleagues said she had just passed me in a car and saw me frantically running along the road. She laughed and said, "Were you worried about being late again?" I replied to her, "Yeah, I was running a bit late." I couldn't tell her or anyone for that matter what really had taken place. They would have thought I was completely mad. The whole workforce would have mocked me for years to come. I only wish I could have told my work colleague the truth, but I doubt that she would have believed me anyway. If only we lived in a free society where you weren't condemned and laughed at for telling the truth. It still upsets me that even my best friend doesn't believe me and thinks that it was some kind of joke. I can assure everybody that this was not a joke, and I was totally truthful about my strange encounters with this creature. This incident took place back in 2010 and still freaks me out to this day. All the best, and thank you for allowing me to share. I love my cat too. Look at Buddy. Aramic. Thank you, Aramic. No worries, Clint. I'm sorry I didn't have more for you, buddy. All right, guys. I had a great night hanging out with you. Thank you very much. 2025. It's a new year, baby. It's a new year. I hope to see you guys next week. Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Wiley. Thank you for being here. Gringo, thank you for being here, my friend. Peter, Leon, Jane. Take care too. Three cat mom. Orion, Andy Davis. And I hope to see you guys next week. Thank you, Amber. Arabic, if you're here still. Clint, thank you again. Thank you again. Winter Sky, happy birthday, dear. I hope that you had a good birthday. And Ryder Clutch wishes you all a good night. Stacy Lockett, have a good night, dear. Kakalina. Jesse Good. Janie. Ryder Clutch loves you.